which is what led to the Katarina pick. It was suggested by Frez in the mid lane. It's a good matchup into the Veigar, and it's a champ that really accelerates the pace of the game. So it's something we wanted to test out, and we'll just see how it works.
Interesting. Matt, you have any questions before we hop into game number 1?
Yeah, there's mainly this mid matchup of Katarina. I believe it's the first time Frez we've seen actually ever pick up something like this.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the first time we've picked it up in a collegiate setting. It's a champion he plays here and there on his own time. Like we said, it's a really good matchup into Veigar. It's not really something that can get bullied off the lane too well. Veigar's real only response to any form of initiation is his End Horizon. It's the stun on his E, which is not that good to use against Katarina because she has so many blinks. She can easily get in and out of it. And if you use it as a response to the ultimate and you're holding it for the ultimate, then you don't really have a way of locking her down either. So she can very easily kind of poke, trade, and permanently roam into the side lanes, leaving you kind of abandoned mid lane while all your side lanes are just getting permanently camped. So there's not a lot of control tools for the Veigar to actually shut down the Katarina, which is what allows it to snowball so well.
Definitely going to be looking forward to seeing what happens on here. We are getting into game number 1, so sorry for the leg ping as we're, of course, fighting the drop frames, but we'll definitely hear more from you going into game 2. Zeddy, thank you for hopping in and sharing us the insight in regards to the matchup. We'll catch you on the next one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hopping on in here. Anybody who, of course, voted the prediction for the first game was, do you think there would be an engagement in level 1? I mean, at least right now, excuse me, at least right now going into this opening phase, absolutely quiet here from both teams. Nobody wanting to take any chances in the slightest. That's like it is, in fact, going to just be a very quiet start overall here for this matchup. Kubra going to be going back and forth here with Kurt, of course, back and forth battle, but nothing too crazy as of yet at this moment anyway. And that is definitely unfortunate. It does appear like there's just constant internet problems on, and maybe very well my end here. So we did lose Matt in the progress, so definitely big apologies here for everybody. I don't know why it is that right at 3 o'clock they decide to absolutely crush us here on the broadcast, but we'll make do with what we can. Bleed Turtle not having himself a very good time here in this mid lane, but he is going to get some help here from Zell. Fred's going to have to run for the hills, going to be down to about a quarter HP. But keeps himself alive, didn't have to burn his flash just yet. And I'll try this once again here.
I think I am back.
Are you living?
I believe so. Having a lot of technical difficulties today.
I'm just trying to figure out if it's my end or your end or Twitch's end or what on the world is going on here, but I still see the red box of death down on the bottom, so apologize if this is end up being laggy, because it's all internet-based. It is what it is, I suppose. Thankfully, for you, Matt, it's basically just been Farm Fest with one gank in the mid lane where Frez did not have to burn his flash to get out of dodge, but he did have to go back to go buy some items, but that's just the gist of it, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking like a pretty basic start of how you predict this to be. Not much happening other than an excessive amount of poke in the bot lane onto that Samira. But still managing to keep up in CS with that range, but Ezreal and Seraphine's always going to have the little edge onto the ranged melee lineup. But it's going to be a little gank up in his top lane. Goes pop, but it's going to be the W back, and it's going to be first blood given over to Actiforce. They'll fight in his bot lane here, and Dyslexia is going to go right on top of Lazi, but he's going to have to back out. It's going to be a trade in summoners, and only Flash left up for Dyslexia.
honestly, the bot lane on the side of Lambton handled that extremely well. Mienzo's still going to try and get aggressive. However, that root underneath the turret is nearly going to cost him his life. You can tell Mienzo and Lazi both just want to go finish the kills here, but they're really pushing this a little bit too far. It's a point where Selexia, if he found himself one stray Mystic shot, could have probably finished one of them off. And Saints are going to be forced to back out after that one.
Yeah, a little bit of a skirmish. But it's going to be Cooper getting a bit aggressive onto Kurt Wonder here. Does miss his barrel chain onto Kurt, but Zell's going to show up to make sure nothing happens in the end, and it's going to go back to a little delay here.
Mid cannot cast abilities. I guess that's kind of critical. So I guess it's just one of those days apparently here. We're going to throw this back to us actually for just a moment here on the caster's desk while they try to figure out a solution, whether it has to be a rehost or whatnot. So a bit of a scuffed start to this one way or another. I mean, they all can't be perfect. At least internet-wise, I think we're okay now. I'm not sure what the heck happened here, but now on the side of the game, can Frez actually cast his abilities? We will find out soon enough. Looks like we're still under the pause. So now that I have an opportunity to catch my breath and we have ourselves a match, we have ourselves the team compositions, and it's been only the one successful gank up in the top lane where it was Active Force picking it up. There was one thing that I also wanted to mention going into this matchup, as the pause has been released, it looks like, so let's hop back into it. But if you were with us during the match, I believe it would have been on Monday. What was it that we were constantly saying, Matt? Get off the Ezreal to whoever we were playing down there?
Yeah, it's, you know, Conestoga love their Ezreal.
That's what it was, yeah. It would have been Wednesday's match then, yeah. And they were just constantly playing Ezreal, which of course, is, as well as you do, you can be doing fantastic. Sometimes it feels like you just kind of run out of carry potential. And anytime I see an Ezreal get picked now, I always worry about that. And so when we've seen Dyslexia here pick up that Ezreal, definitely worried for him come late game time. Because really, the late game power is going to be coming from Flea Turtle and then Kurt Wonder, but Kurt's probably going to be kind of keeping to himself up in the top lane, if I'm guessing correctly. We do see a dive coming in. Kurt Wonder is not going to be very long for this world, and he's going to get taken down one little slice, and then Kubra actually going to get the final blow with his ultimate.
Yeah, a bit of a scuffed little gank up there as Cooper went a bit early on, tanking that aggro with his ulti, and the E timed out for Active Force, so he didn't want to hit that tower, but gonna be a kill onto Kurt, and they're gonna trade the drag down the bot lane as they have full prio down there.
You know, good answer though. Good answer on the side of Lambton, just to catch that while Active Force was all the way up top and rather low as well.
And there may be a little fight Active Force might get himself caught in as Zell's moving up into that red jungle. Gonna find those reds in the bush, and they're gonna go, but he's actually 2 levels up over Zell.
Oh, he's dead.
He's actually just gonna go down 1v1. Active Force is having a 20 CS lead, but Lazi's gonna go in onto Dyslexia here. Doesn't have his level 6 yet, so he's not able to do anything, but the return damage from Dyslexia and Light's Faith is just massive. Gansel has to watch himself. He's gonna get chunked out down to about 200 HP, and great turnaround from the side of Lambton.
That definitely looks like a bit of a champion and matchup experience for the side of the St. Clair bot lane, as Rel, of course, yes, she could jump on in, but she's extremely slow. One thing that isn't slow is that Hecarim coming out here from Active Force, going to be showing up to Kurt again. Kurt Wonder going to be going down for the 3rd time here in this matchup, and that's going to be the 3rd kill for Active Force as well. So, fantastic start here for Active Force.
Yeah, and they saved this Fiora for last pick. It's gonna be bot lane going in, missing the stun onto Dyslexia there with the flash E. But Jarvan's down here for the regang to exhaust, going down to Lazi. They're gonna try and turn this around, but Lazi's gonna go down possibly. They're trying to give it over to Dyslexia, but it almost was too much. Dyslexia may go down to the ignite, and he's gonna live with a sliver. And a little bit of a misplay from Lambton, trying to give the kill over Dyslexia, but almost killed him in the process.
I mean, no harm, no foul. They do end up both keeping their lives, and then did take down both the side of of St. Clair. Good gank there from Zell and the rest of the Lambton squad. And Dyslexia, if there is a time where I guess an Ezreal is supposed to go in, you kind of want to get it done as early as possible. That way you just completely deny your opponent from getting like anywhere near like a late game potential. If there's any way you're going to win with Ezreal, I guess that's how you're going to do it. But it's going to be Active Force once again here with Kurt. He's going to try and actually turn one onto Kubra, but to be honest, he still has a lot of health on his bar at this moment. Still about half left, so he's going to get out of dodge. Didn't have to even burn the flash, so Active Force maybe making some return trips up to that top lane, but at least Kurt's kind of catching on a little bit.
Yeah, he negated a lot of damage with that W riposte back into Uber and Active Force, so didn't take as much damage as he was going to, and in the end was going. But it's actually going to be the fear coming down onto Kurt, but he's going to go onto Kubra. Riposte coming down, he's going to flash and just barely almost hitting his vital there onto Kubra. Active Force going to claim the 4th one of this game.
You know what? That was so close, though. Almost got it, but hello. Absolutely nuking Zell down like it's nobody's business, and that's going to be Frez getting his first one of the game here. And one thing I've not necessarily touched on this mid lane since the coach is in sight, but Frez is out farming Flea Turtle here on the Veigar, and now has a kill under his belt. It's going to really make things very difficult here. And again, of course, Veigar is such a squishy anti-mage that like every single trade feels like it takes a chunk, like at least a quarter of your health, even in just the minimum ones.
Yeah, and now in the early levels, Katarina is supposed to lose those, but hit that 6 and beyond, you're just kind of stuck there as you can just take so much damage from her. It's gonna be another pause, most likely, as the mid lane just had a disconnect, most likely an internet issue. But with that, looking at it, it's wow, it's a almost 5k gold lead for the side of St. Clair at 10 or 11 minutes, which is insanely good.
Absolutely. I'll throw it back to us here at the desk one more time here, as we do have ourselves another problem, of course, with this time there with the mid laner. What is about mid lane that apparently can't cast their abilities here today? But unfortunate. New prediction, actually, now in Twitch chat. Of course, everyone who is guessing, was there going to be a battle at level 1? 93% of you said that there would be. There was not. So whoever voted no, you're the one profiting here today. But of course, the new one now in the chat. This is me kind of getting a little bit confident here in our Saints squad, but will the Saints reach 30 kills this game? So yes or no, of course, in the chat. Use your channel points that you earn just by watching the stream. And just have a little bit of extra little fun while we're watching the matchup at hand. But now, of course, still kind of under pause as of this moment. And really, other than the fact that Lambton secured themselves a quick Infernal Drake, that's really the only big highlight, aside from maybe one solid gank in the bot lane. Which is too bad. They're making solid plays, but it seems like it's just laning in general that they're kind of falling behind in here.
Yeah, they're really going to have to be looking to this Ezreal and Seraphine to be carrying them back into this game. Quick update on the pause. It was a small little power outage
fair enough.
Flea Turtle there, so we will be getting back into it shortly. But yeah, this bottom side of the map from mid downwards is just really their strong point, looking like Dyslexia and Light having a pretty good laning phase against Lazi and Mansfo, being able to go 2-on-2 against them and winning the trades usually, so having themselves a pretty good time down there.
Yeah, they've been doing a really solid job deflecting any of the aggression that Lazi and Mansfo try to do. And then one thing I kind of want to bring up again that that Zeddy or Coach Shadi was saying earlier is that they're experimenting right now. You could kind of see that going in from this bot lane, because like, I kind of touched on it just a little bit earlier, but like Lassie, there was one engagement, he dove right in expecting that, like say for a Mansfo, normally he would just walk on up with like a Leona or something, zip right back into the fight, and then they're all shooting Mansfo and Lassie gets to go for free. By the time Mansfo jumped in, now of course not in the horse form, super slow, chugging along, trying to poke you with a spear. Lazi face tanked 3/4 of his HP, and he couldn't do anything. So that's a bit of a difference, of course, with or difference rather with the champion selected here from the St. Clair squad. Mansfo is definitely going to have to find like different positions, or Lazi just has to be a little bit more patient because his support can't just jump with him as he may be very well used to. And it's a bit of a slow start. They're at least keeping up in regards to CS to this Lambton bot lane, but still, Dyslexia and Light's Faith doing a fantastic job of just deflecting everything as of right now.
Yeah, and with that engage that Dyslexia and Zell and Light's Faith came in with, the engage from St. Clair, Lazi, he flashed into him, but the dash from the Ezreal just landed in the Rel passive, or her E actually missed, so Lazi's kind of stuck in there tanking so much damage when Mansfield's trying to catch up to him because of that tether. So there's a bit of a line of how far you can go in with it before you kind of just go down.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. How many times do we see Lazi, who's the AD carry, who you would normally expect to be kind of sitting in the background, just straight up flash on top of his target, like super confident that he can get the kill. Majority of times, okay, you might get away with that if you're Lazi. But of course, Ezreal, he's basically has half a flash on a 20-second cooldown. So he can get himself out of dodge nice and quick and turn that on you very quickly. As well with Light's Faith down on the Seraphine. Shields, heals, and the extra fact that he's probably the most experienced player in terms of ranking on this Lambton College squad. I think he's the diamond in the rough here of this Lambton squad. So he's definitely seen a thing or two about aggressive players. As you can hear in the background, we finally have our friend here, Flea Turtle, has returned. So now, as power is good to go, we'll get on with the action here in this St. Clair vs. Lambton matchup.
And as we get back into it, you can see that Action Force has picked up the Herald, but also has that 11-minute Sunderer. So he's in a really good spot right now, and it's roughly about 30 CS up over Zell in that Jarvan. So but we're looking possibly for a little dive here, or we're going to, but Zell's going to roam back into his jungle as the wave's not that big, and Uber maintains his 2-level lead over Hurt.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up that I totally forgot about too. How the heck did Active Force get so far ahead in regards to levels? It was so early before he even had it. And actually, we're going to see the dive on in here. Frey's going to pop the Death Lotus as well. Charge on in. Active Force going to find himself kill number 5 here in this game. Somehow, compared to Zell, he's level 9 to level 6. And even from like early stages with these ganks up in the top lane, it just feels like Zell can't do anything.
Yeah, Zell's really just been kind of MIA his entire game. He's been slowly farming. It's going to be a little fight in the top lane. Hurt's wanting to get those vitals down, but it's just taking so much damage. But you're going to see Charm onto Lazi, and it's just going to go down to 100-0 real quick. And Mansfo might be on the table next. Has that flash, but going to burn it.
Run!
The flash from Dyslexia actually just going to finish him off with the auto attack. And Herald in mid lane is going to destroy that first tower in return. Now they're going to look to contest this drag in a 3v2. And looking, Zell's going on a
we're playing with fire
here.
Oh yeah,
actually, Hurt just going down to 1v1 actually.
Yeah, Kuber looks at you. Dare come at me with less than a quarter? Okay, we'll take this play. Death Lotus coming out. Nobody can stun him. That is a ton of damage, and Active Force going to find a finishing blow. Is Frez going to be able to go? Nope, he's going to run into the ultimate from Flea Turtle. If there's one saving grace right now about this Lambton squad, is that anytime Frez dives in solo like that, Flea Turtle can just absolutely nuke him down nice and quick.
Yeah, and you see Mansfield's over the wall here. He's looking to go in with the Hex Flash, but he's going to cancel and go the other way as Lazi's not near, but Active Force kind of baiting them out a bit. Mansfield actually did go over the wall with the Blast Cone.
Yeah.
They're not knowing, and Kuber did TP down to this bot lane to help secure the dragon. Maybe Ocean Drag going over to St. Clair, and following that, it's going to be the Cloud Rift.
Gotcha. So one thing that I want to say real quick before we do move on here, Zell making me at least eat my words a little bit. I was just saying how it felt like he couldn't do anything. Then as soon as he hit level 6, he was down in that bot lane and absolutely destroyed the bot lane duo of Ozzy and Miensfo with the help of Dyslexia and Light's Faith. So, sure, levels down, but he is still finding himself some value with these ganks, but he's still going to be so much further behind. Anytime Zell shows up, yeah, he'll be maybe a little bit nervous. But if I see Active Force charging into my lane, I'm absolutely clenching and running for the hills because he's tanky, but he's going to be doing a burst of damage as well. That is going to be a terrifying Hecarim to try to deal with as this game goes on, and it's not necessarily going to fall off either.
Ooh. Low engage up here on the top lane onto Kuber again. He's going to dodge out on the barrel combo and hit his vitals. Burning Flash was going to be engaged onto Flea Turtle here. Get knocked up and feared, and he's just going to go down to Active Force. Godlike on this Hecarim.
And a solid roam there from Miensfo as well. I feel like Flea Turtle might have been able to get out of dodge if it wasn't for Miensfo making that roam, catching a player off guard, and then knocking him up so that Frez and Active Force can finish the job. Nicely done there.
Yeah, and Active Force there wasn't able to buffer his ulti through that cage properly, so he did get locked up, and if Miensfo wasn't there, it most likely would have just been Flea Turtle getting away as Zell was on the rotate beside him. I'll pick up a Scuttle in this river, almost a level 11 on this Hecarim, still a solid 2-level lead over his opponent, and pretty dead even in this bot lane still, as it's only about 3 CS lead for side.
For submissions close here on this next prediction. 82% of you think the Saints are going to get 30 kills this game. They have a long way to go, but it is still kind of early in this game. We'll have to see as we move forward here. It's cool to see that everyone has faith in the absolute bloodbath ability of St. Clair, as we do see them jump on Kurt.
Yeah, it's going to be an engage on bot lane too.
Oh, we're
the
dead.
Seraphine ulti missing, but it doesn't even matter. Miensfo gets the one shot as Frez does pick up Kurt Wonder, my mistake, on this top lane. It's going to be another tower going over the side of St. Clair plus Herald.
Yeah, so overall positive for St. Clair, the fact they've been able to get the tower, the kill, and now the Herald, compared to the one kill happening down bot and maybe a couple, well, maybe one more wave they can kill that, but they'd have to really rush it down. But yeah, still overall positive on the side of St. Clair, and I like that Active Force just isn't taking every single kill and just going absolutely crazy. They're kind of letting the rest of the St. Clair squad go in, but he is going to absolutely just blow up Flea Turtle for free at the way this goes. Frez is going to get the kill, actually, just exactly what I was kind of saying, handing it on over. Going to be able to jump to his teammate. Kurt Wonder going to try and make this happen, but he's 0-6 right now. Has a little bit of damage, but not a whole heck of a lot. Zell, though, comes on in. Frez running for the hills. Miensfo has arrived, but it's too little, too late. Another tower does fall in the meantime, but Kurt Wonder is also going to fall at this rate. Zell is going to be short to follow as well, unless the Seraphine of Light's Faith can keep him topped off. Active Force is getting baited a little bit. This is going to be a huge bounty if he does go down. Who's it going to go to? It does go over right into the pocket of Dyslexia, who is the one member on the side of Lambton College who's been like significantly ahead, and him getting that bounty, I mean, it's on an Ezreal, so I'm worried about the late game potential, but he'll at least be able to blow somebody up.
Yeah, and he's going for this man immune into looks like a lethality build for the Ezreal, but he's been silently just getting these kills in these 2v2s in on that rotate there onto Active Force, who did go a bit too hard on the re-engage, thinking he could catch the Jarvan, but he flag and dragged away and just kind of baited him further in and just got locked under tower there. So bit of an unfortunate one for Active Force inside St. Clair, and not devastatingly gonna throw away the lead, but have to be careful of giving away those huge bounties to people like your AD carry who have the potential to carry.
That's just it. If Dyslexia is able to constantly find his Mystic shots and get those like solid multiplayer true shot barrages and just work from the outside and never get dived, I mean, that sounds like a lot of conditions, but it's definitely possible, especially with Light's Faith, who's probably just going to be right on top of him. with charms, with heals, with shields. If they can do this properly, I mean, Dyslexia could very well be the big factor in turning a fight. As we do see this next dragon coming on down. Zell going to go on in, but he's too little too late. This dragon is going to go over to St. Clair, and it now is up to Active Force to release himself towards the team. A solid charm, though, is going to go across multiple members of St. Clair. Frez, though, he's lining them up. Does he have the reset? He does. Dyslexia not going to be long for this world. You can't really get a Katarina off you, and that is a brutal team fight here for the side of St. Clair, as everyone on Lambton falls except for Kurt Wonder, who's kind of stuck up there in the top lane, and Kubra just using his teleport to get right back up to make sure no damage can be done. Rift Herald's running through the bot lane. This is a ton of damage for St. Clair going up against Lambton.
Yeah, I'm kind of losing faith in Ezreal now after that one. He just said it was a 1v3 on Frez there, and he kind of just one-shot both of them. So, you know, classic Katarina things of just one-shotting squishy targets, and poor Lightspace there just left in the dust. Could have canceled Kubra's little TP there if he tried, but in the end just went down and made it a 4-0 on the side of St. Clair.
Yeah, that one didn't go in their favor pretty much at all, and it's unfortunate there for Zell. Yes, the dragon went down, or it was going down, but it was so far down that him diving in was just going to be too little too late. He kind of baited the rest of his team to go in for that fight after the fact. So unfortunately there, a little bit of an off maneuver from Zell, going to get everybody, or not everybody killed, but you just give Saints one opening and they just charge on in. Like Active Force, he can clear so much distance, of course, with that Hecarim ultimate. And as much as you try to keep Dyslexia alive, it's just going to be too difficult.
Yeah, and you know, you really only have one real tank in that Jarvan, but when he's your main engage as well, it's kind of 50-50 of how you're going to peel this Katarina and Hecarim off of your team. It looks like St. Clair is starting up this Baron. They do not have Lazi with them, so it's going to be a bit slow as it's only their 3 melee champions attacking it right now. Does get warded out, and Zell is nearby. Lazi is still not with them, and they're continuing it. Active Force getting chunked very heavily. Barrel combo is going to find Dyslexia and puts him very low. He's going to key over the wall as Lightspace gets engaged on by Frez and just gets one-shot by Kubra, and Kubra finding himself a double kill here as they get trapped into Cataclysm. It's going to be Frez going invulnerable, just gets one-shot Kubra getting ulted by the Veigar, and they're actually still on Baron. Active Force is just continuing this. They're not slowing down, and they're finally going to get off it after a very, very long fight. Ansel getting rooted up here in the cage. Lazi's looking for more onto Kurt, but can't really find it as he's a bit faster than him.
Like, how many baskets as a Saints do you think that you can dip your hand into? What on earth are you thinking? At this team, or the Saints team right now, yes, they're about 10k ahead, but they can very easily throw some kills away and it could be brought back, especially with how reckless I think they're playing right here, right now.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to burn down the Baron with the players who are maybe a little bit slower here. Yes, Active Force can do himself some decent damage, but Lazi's a little bit behind. Miensfo's Rel's not going to be doing too much damage, more of a tank than anything. So with Frez and with, I think it was Cooper who dove in to try and basically 2v4 a team fight, that's a yikes. And that's how you hand over bounties, and that's how you hand over a comeback. And then because they decided to do that, they didn't have enough damage for the Baron either. So now they're back, going to have to try this again. But it's going to be very obvious here to the side of Lambton what they are looking to do. And they do, of course, have... Look at that. There's so much wards here. They know what's going to be happening, as long as they don't get themselves baited into a team fight.
Yeah, they're going to start this Baron up again. And it's going to get spotted out by the Ezreal ulti. Hits a couple members, but still, there's a Baron going down so slow. They don't have anyone who can really go through this. And Velcrom are not going to find anything. A couple of pink wards go in, and it looks like St. Clair want to pull off this, but they don't know how to. Gonna get rooted up. Double charm going down. It's going to be... This is the fight Lamp is looking for. Active Force getting caught. He's going to have to burn. The ulti. Lazi's just getting one shot. Kurt Wonder in the back line. Lazi's going spin to win on the back, and it's just turning around in favor of St. Clair. But the Katarina gets stuck in that cage, and he's going to get taken down. A triple kill for Dyslexia. If they can find Mienzo on this top bush, maybe making it a 4-for-1, but in the end, it's just going to be a 3-for-3 or a 3-for-2 on the side of Lambton. And with Drake spawning and Act 4 having back, it's going to be the second drag for Lambton.
And with that, that 10k gold lead has now dropped to like 7. And just keep on doing plays like that, and Lambton will be right back into this game. Yes, they're relying a lot onto Dyslexia right here, which, I mean, we've had our gripes against Ezreal in the past, but at the end of the day, we cannot deny the fact that he has 8 kills, and then Flea Turtle, whoever he ults, as long as it's not necessarily like Actiforce or maybe Miensfo, if he ults anybody else, that sets up the rest of his team for a very quick kill if it doesn't straight up kill them themselves. So now, solid job from Lambton. They have one good fight. Get yourself on the board with an objective as well. They take this dragon. Actiforce looks for it, and he's not going to find it. Good on Lambton to get themselves back into this game. Definitely winnable. Tough, but winnable.
Yeah, and I think Clair really have, like you were saying, can easily throw this lead, and from the looks of it, they kind of have been beginning to throw that lead that they had. From going from a 10k to roughly only about 5 is very, very bad for the team. They do have 7 towers, though, in their favor, but with these forced Baron fights they keep putting out, just really don't seem like they're working, as they don't have the speed to try and sneak them, and this engage is very, very scuffed almost. It's basically the only way you can really put them, as they burn all their ultis as a disengage rather than engage.
Mm-hmm. And of course, like, Actiforce wants to be diving right in onto Dyslexia, get the fear so that he can't even Arcane Shift away. And he just blink away and keep himself safe. But yeah, when you're stuck taking so much damage because of the Baron or because of the team fight and you have to use it to escape, that is a huge tool gone, and it just lets Dyslexia just run amok with the rest of the squad. And then one thing I find kind of funny is the fact that both Frez and Lousy have spin the win ultimates. It didn't even click to me. That's kind of funny. But of course, it relies not getting stunned up here, and there's still some decent targets on the side of Lambton that can shut that down. And like Flea Turtle has that gigantic cage, Lightsfaith even. Lightsfaith, his ability as of right now to find these multiplayer charms has been one of the better Seraphines that I've seen in the past couple weeks. Normally, we see Seraphines fire off that ultimate and it might as well be a warning shot. But actually, Kurt, you're 0-8 and you're winning this fight? He's looking fantastic. He just shredded Kubra.
Wow. You know,
that's his first kill of the game.
Yeah, a little engage onto Mienfo here. Gonna rel W out. It's gonna be on the back lane. The charm hitting 2 members, but Dyslexia is taking a lot of damage here. The cage did not find anyone. That's gonna be just a really right from Katarina and the Samira. It's gonna be a 4-for-1 or. And I was about to say before this, Seraphine Samira not finding much, but it's gonna be the ace here. I was gonna say before the teamfight broke out, Lousie's kind of been silent this game, but just found himself that triple kill there and brought himself right back in the game. And it's gonna be a free inhib here. Most likely won't be an end because they do have the members spawning. Actiforce is gonna try. They're actually gonna try for an end here. They have the TP coming in. Kubra. They have Wonder spawning in 10 seconds. Ezreal in 3, but I think it may be too late. Both turrets are gone, and they're gonna focus down this Nexus. It's gonna be a really scrappy fight here, as Katarina does not really do much, and
of course,
with the freeze, it does signal a win for St. Clair. 27-13, 3 kills away from 30 mark.
Yeah, I always thought that the Saints would reach 30. Unfortunately, that was 82% of you. So anyone who said no, you're profiting here today in regards to the minigame. But unfortunately, they're like, yes. Oh,
does it? We do not know. Maybe they did pick up a couple kills before the Nexus did fall. So,
well, thankfully, I do have the freeze frame here. Let's see if I have access to the scoreboard. Because, yes, they're sitting at 27 as of this moment. Let's see. Does it give us the stats at the end of the game? It does. 29 kills they get. Aww. So anybody who thought that they were going to reach 30, so close. So close, but not today. Quite funny they've gotten so close there that time by. But
Yeah, and
okay, go
it
ahead.
was yeah, a really good start for St. Clair. Had a really good early game there, but that mid game with those Baron rushes, really starting to kind of like throw it back in favor for Lambton, but unlucky. Team fight finds here as they just kind of got wiped. Backline wasn't able to maintain anything. I think the best thing you can do in this is pick at least some other tank other than that Jarvan for Lambton. You know, you're gonna have your only tank be your engage and dies early. You kind of just don't have anything in that backup. So kind of work on getting something of a either engage or tank, and you actually could have a better chance of taking a game.
Absolutely, and just right off the start, Zell was just having a hard time in that jungle. Was constantly levels behind Active Force, and then Active Force was almost like gift wrapping a little bit in regards to how crazy he was going in with some of these engagements, to the point where like you could tell that he was seeing red. He was super confident, wanted to get on in there, and would sometimes just get blown up before the rest of his team was ready for it. But it is, of course, something that Saints still need to work on. This was not a perfect match by any means, and there's still plenty of room to improve. But this does put... If I were to coach right now, I'd feel kind of awkward because, like, yes, the early game went well if you were trying to experiment with something, but how do you handle that in regards to the mid game? Like, is that a good sample? I really don't think that was a good sample because I feel like there was definitely so much more that they could have done there. But at the end of the day, I'm here on the caster's desk, not the coach. I'm sure we can maybe ping Zeddy a little bit later on in regards to that. But any final thoughts before we take ourselves a quick break before hopping into game 2?
No, I don't think there's much to say other than what has been said. I think that Lambton does have the potential to take a game in the series and possibly even take it if they do find their footing like they had in that bot lane. You know, they seem to really like putting all their as you put it, their eggs in their basket into dyslexia there for carrying it. So maybe not the Ezreal. You know, I think we've all seen that they do better. People do better off the Ezreal, but I mean, he didn't do that bad on it. He was carrying at some points, but just had no peel, so it was unfortunate.
Yeah, so how about we just completely now bypass the break, because it looks like we're actually hopping into the pick and ban phase for game number 2. Let's hop right on into it, catch it live while we can. So if you're on the Lambton side, do you really target anything other than what you normally played and just kind of run it down to lack of execution, or do you take away Hecarim or something like that and force Saints to try something different?
You know, I don't even think the Hecarim was a big issue. I mean, you can always take it off the banning board there because of just how much engage it can bring, but because of the early kills on the top lane and Kurt Wonder not having a spectacular game, I believe finishing like 1-9 or something, really giving a lot. But they're gonna ban the Hecarim away there along with Gnar and Nivea, so targeting 3 of the that player there. It's gonna be the Ashe and Thresh, so keeping some bans the same. May follow up with a Senna as they did last time, but may go for something other than that, like the Seraphine if they do not like it. Have to see what they want. It's gonna be the Ezreal actually.
Why?
So dyslexia, not gonna be able to go on it, but kind of a questionable ban for the side of St. Clair there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but Ezreal just feels like cannot carry games as of late, which is too bad. I actually love the champion. It's one of my favorite every 80 carries. But I know that if this game goes past 25 minutes, I'm probably screwed. But we are going to see, of course, it get banned out, which means we're probably going to see the setup for possibly a Senna Kench on the side of Lambton, unless Saints decide to take away Kench, which I would be very surprised of, but you never know. I've seen crazier things so far today, including a Blitzcrank. Okay.
That's definitely a new one for me. Don't usually see Blitzcrank getting picked that often, but I have seen it being picked into Senna Tam as a counter because of just Blitzcrank's ultimate being able to destroy that shield from the Tamkent, his gray shield, and it's most likely gonna be paired with this Callista, and it will be. But that Ezreal ban, since it was banned off, they did leave up the Senna they didn't last game. Having that Senna left, but it's not gonna be a Tamkent actually, so it's gonna be a real ADC Senna, not the fasting, as Nautilus was picked up on the side with Dyslexia. We'll have to see. They're hovering the Lux, but I have a feeling it most likely is just a hover. I hope. It's okay, it's not. It's actually Lux going in that mid lane.
Oh gosh, I'm seeing so many of my favorite champions that are absolutely terrible and competitive come out to play here today. It does seem, as much as I love Lux, it is very hard to pull off in a non-solo queue setting. It's just too easy to abuse. I feel like Active Force now, if he wasn't seeing red before, seeing a Lux in the mid lane is like, okay, target acquired, I'm going in, and he's picking the Olaf as well. So come level 6, that Lux can't do anything to get Olaf off of her.
Yeah, and they're really gonna have to put a lot of their time to keep this Olaf down. So not picking their jungle in this phase means it's gonna be a lot of the pool shrunken as well. Most likely won't be focusing on this top lane as... Okay, maybe one ban for that top lane in the Kennen. With the Kennen ban, it seems they may be going for something a bit squishier in that lane, like a like the Gangplank again, or maybe even like a Jace, who have rough times into these matchups. I'll have to see what Lambton wants to ban. They're gonna stick to it and go for that Victor against. Not wanting to face it.
Well, definitely not biased at all. I would absolutely love to see a Jace in that top lane come out here from the Clair squad. But that being said, I've never seen Kubra play it, so who knows what'll happen there. And they're just going to get rid of the Fiora, so Kurt, even though he had himself a very rough game 1, we did see near the end that it got to the point where he was still, even as an 0-8 Fiora, was still able to solo Kubra's Gangplank. So we'll have to see moving forward into this next game where they're going to force Kurt Wander on in this situation. One more ban still on the board here for Lambton College. They opt to get rid of the Camille, which I guess could have been one of those somewhat squishy top lanes that maybe Kubra was thinking about. But back to the drawing board, and oh, of course. Of course, the Frez special, the Kiana coming out here. Favorite champion alongside of Nivea, I think, there for Frez, and they actually let him pick this in a competitive game. Oh, I wonder how much extra homework Frez had to do for Zeddy to let him pick this in competitive.
Yeah, it seems that Clair is going for that experimental draft again, like that game 1 with these. Cho'Gath being picked up for this top lane, pretty standard.
So we're seeing it a bit more now.
Yeah, you've seen him pick slowly coming up a bit as he just gets excessively tanky. Having that Callista, being able to just throw 20 spears in him can do something, but it's going to be finished off with the Elise. Not the biggest jungle you see coming around, as she's been kind of tossed out of the meta, but going to be put into this Olaf to try and get him slowed down on these earlys, leaving Kubra actually this last pick into the Cho'Gath, feeling most likely it's going to be a bit of a tank. Like Mordekaiser are there, so good little mashup into Cho'Gath, and overall a very, what seems on Clair's side, experimental.
Absolutely. So we're going to definitely need to talk to him again. Let's see. Because this is just an absolute messy draft, to say the least. We're about to get ready to hop into game 2, of course. The fact that Frez is on Kiana is absolutely hilarious. Game prediction for game 2 is going to be who scores a stronger KDA between Frez and Lazi. So be sure to drop your points in the Twitch chat and vote to see which side will take care of it. Now, if I do recall, I think we do actually have Zeddy on the line here for this next pick and ban phase. Zeddy, you with us?
Yep. Oh.
All right, perfect. Welcome back to the Coach's Insights section here of tonight's broadcast. So I had made the joke here starting off once I seen this pick, but how much extra homework did Frez have to do to get Kiana in a competitive match?
I told him if he doesn't go 7-0, he's never allowed to ask for this pick again. He's been asking for it for the last 3 weeks. Hasn't really found an angle for it. I mean, the assassin pick worked decently okay game 1. In all fairness, I wasn't too happy with how game 1 came out. I really think that if we played with a little bit more discipline, it could have been a complete wipe. I don't think the game had to last 27 minutes when we were as far ahead top lane as we were. So, I mean, it is what it is. But going into game 2, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we kind of for fun draft. Like we literally, everyone's kind of playing, like everyone asked for their own champ. We're gonna try to snowball and try to be a little bit more disciplined with it. And I'm hoping that, if they're able to just pick champs that they feel like playing and, they're comfortable on, we can get a more solid synergistic performance. But there's a part of me that wants us to lose this game just so that we can get a more tight draft for game 3. You know what I mean? Like, part of me wants to just see it happen so that we can be a little bit stricter going into third game. But they performed really well game 1, and I'm hoping they can carry that momentum.
Cool. Matt, you got anything for this one?
Well, I wanted to get your opinion on that mid game from last game, having that 10,000 gold lead by I think it was 11 minutes, and having these kind of throw plays around that Baron. I just wanted to see what your thoughts are on the game, even though it was that experimental draft.
It's moments like that that made game 1 bittersweet. Like we all kind of came out of game 1, and I asked them like, "How'd you guys feel about game 1?" And everyone was like, "Eh." Like we demolished the game. It was basically like unwinnable for Lambton, like you said, at around 11, 12 minutes. And it took us another 15 minutes to close it out. And it was because of autopiloted plays like forcing Barons. These are the kind of plays you see a lot in like LEC, and they're really funny to watch where a team will kind of get a little bit of a lead and then they'll throw the game on Baron by forcing a 50-50 play that doesn't need to happen. This is something we've talked about before as a team, is pushing your tempo, right? What I would have liked to see more as a coach is when you're that far ahead, forcing like a calculated, intelligent dive top lane. There was that moment where we set up that Katarina Hecarim gank on Veigar in the mid lane when he overextended. I think rather than spending 35 seconds in that bush waiting for that Veigar to overstep, moving top lane, diving tower, and committing Herald there to break open an inhibitor, I think just wins us the game outright. And it's something that I would have really liked to see from the team. Unfortunately, when you're in cLoL, there's only so much I can do as a coach when they're in game. So it's moments like these where now looking back on these VODs, we can review, reflect, and improve for next time. But definitely a bittersweet game 1.
Definitely makes sense. Now, taking a look at this Lambton team composition, there are a lot of picks that are either not meta or they feel extremely solo queue. Like I know personally, I'm looking at this mid lane matchup for Frez, and then I was saying to Matt and the rest of the stream, it's like if I'm active force, I'm just seeing red and I'm going to just be diving Lux constantly. Is this like team comp something that you're kind of just licking your chops for, or are you a little bit worried about it still?
I mean, the way I draft is very kind of methodical and analytical. Like I tend to stick to what's good and combination of what's good and what my players play. This is not my style of draft at all. Like I said, this was a very player-led draft. Blitzcrank Callista came out as a response to Senna. Senna plays from a very long range, so if we can reduce that range by pulling her into our team, we can get on top of her. So there is kind of like a similar counter pick approach with this draft. The Olaf pick, it's obviously something Active Force plays a ton of, and the first 3 picks provided by the enemy team really do nothing to shut it down. So it is kind of, as you said, licking your chops with this Olaf pick. But for me, it's one of those drafts where I know it will perform well, but what are we actually getting out of it? Because when we go up against other teams later down in the season, as we move into OPSC playoffs, as we move into UML playoffs, as we have these kind of more intense games down the line, these picks are not picks we're likely going to be seeing repeated. So today is really kind of, a momentum game. We're going to play this game, we're going to roll it as hard as we can, and we're going to carry that into next week. But learning moments, I think, are the most important things, is working on that mid-game macro, working on that late-game macro, anything we can to make sure our games are a little tighter and a little more solid with our game plan.
Sounds good, sounds good. Of course, still plenty of action for you guys this season, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this matchup ends up turning out and seeing how you guys can do in the future, of course. Still rocking those playoffs and see how far as you can go. But with that, we are about to hop into game number 2. So, Zeddy, thank you once again for your insight here, and maybe we'll see you in game 3. I know you kind of want to see it, maybe we'll see it, but if not, congrats on the victory in game 2.
Thank you.
Now hopping into the swing of things, we did see an early 5-player push towards top lane, but it didn't end up actually getting anything in regards to any sort of kills. If anything, it was maybe just a ward, but that's about it. And off we go, game 2. Let's see if Lambton can fight back.
Yeah, and as you with that top invade there, they kind of just got a ward. It's gonna be Nautilus getting hooked, but a nice buffer from Light's Faith there to get the pull back. So nothing coming from that hook. Little damage going to Lazi as the Senna does have that extra range early on, so gonna have himself a pretty nice time here, but overall so hit a level 2 first, and oh, the long range buffer there from Nautilus. It's such a nice interaction to watch.
This is how you can tell that Light's Faith is super experienced, right? He has these escape plans already on lock. So even if he is getting himself in a position to get caught out, he has himself the backup plan, getting himself out of dodge. As we now see up here in the top lane, Kubra versus Kurt Wonder, and it's going to go into the favor of Kubra, at least to start things off. Of course, that Cho'Gath is going to be more so just there to be the beefiest boy possible. But of course, that ultimate still does a ton of damage, being able to chomp down on somebody and do like half of their health within a second. But that's going to take a little bit of time here. Kurt Wonder not going to have access to that, of course, for another couple minutes. So going to have to try and play as safe as possible, but we do see a little bit of a convergence down on that blue side of the jungle. Everybody wards out and gets out of dodge. And quiet start so far.
Yeah, little skirmishes here and there, and bot lane's just stacking up as they do have a slow push coming into the side of St. Clair, but that little passive for Mordekaiser having some of that max HP. Ooh, a little buffer here again. Just knowing when it's going to happen as Flea Turtle takes a bunch of damage in this mid lane from Prez's Kiana as he has a small level, but a gank in this top lane onto Kubra. Zell's coming in, does flash the cocoon, does take about half his HP, and a good little flash there from Kubra to survive what would have been his death.
I mean, that's just the thing about this Elise jungle. Of course, Elise, a jungler who's always decent, but hasn't been, I guess, like super good in at least a little while here. And it's just like, okay, you do that long range stun, it gets flashed. Okay, now what do you do? As we do see Miensfo, of course, getting aggressive, gonna hook onto Light's Faith again. Of course, gonna Spider-Man his way back to his tower and be a-okay. So, at least in regards to like the kill power of this St. Clair bot lane, Light's Faith has been able to deflect it once again. But the fact that he has to worry about it so much is going to be putting him and his AD carry behind in terms of maybe some experience and then CS as well. So we do see Active Force making the trip down to bot lane just to clear some wards, maybe get ready for the dragon, which is about to spawn in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, and with this Nautilus buffer, it's like something you don't even, I've never even seen in like the LCS or something like that too. It's fairly good stuff coming from Light's Faith, but maybe a possible dive here. They do have 4 members here as this Lexi has to burn the flash, but it's going to be the grass from Prez, doesn't have his stun. It's going to be just the flash burn from this Lexi as he has no mana to keep following up on this. Light's Faith actually walking back to the tower. This was kind of an in play here as Active Force is tanking. That's going to be first blood coming through for the side of St. Clair. Questionable play from the side of Light's Faith.
Got a little bit too confident, and he is going to go down. But speaking of overconfidence, Lassie going to be eating a little bit of minion damage here. Tank shooting him in the face there, but going to get out of dodge just fine. But okay, Frez, you got 1. You need 6 more to see this pick ever again competitive. So keep on going here. But like you were saying with Light's Fate on the buffering, and that we've never seen it in the LCS or anything like that. I mean, that is like a smart and like strong play. It would require for North American League of Legends to actually be good to see that. So It is something that I've never seen before. Active Force, okay, he got extremely low. I thought the dragon was going to take his life, but it is going to be taken down. Active Force is going to get that first dragon. And yeah, Frez is just having a field day here in this lane versus Flea Turtle. As much as I love Lux, it's hard to do.
Yeah, may get a bit risky for Frez when he hits that level 6 on the Lux, but other than that, he can do a bit of more damage to Frez with that range. Still keeping up in CS for him, so good for him. But
He level 6 first, but granted Frez did roam.
yeah, I think they previously hit the same time, caught up a bit on XP from the roam, but yeah, not doing too bad on the Lux here, and bot lane still dead even once again as Lazy cleans up his wave and Active Force clears his jungle.
I mean, now that...
The Elite...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, the Elise is still a bit behind. I believe Active Force is what they hit is level 6 soon, and the Elise is only at that level 4, so...
Yeah, like now it's getting to the point where, sure, if Flea Turtle can find like a play either onto Frez or onto Lazy and can like lock him up for a second, I think Flea Turtle does have enough damage to combo him. However, are those targets going to be the ones that actually make themselves available? I feel like it's going to be more so you're going to be up against the Blitzcranker. You're going to be up against an Olaf Ragnarocking and not absolutely caring in the world that you're firing out bindings. And we do see Frez getting a jump here onto Zell. He's going to steal the red buff away. Absolutely heartbreaker there for Zell. Misses the smite as well. So even Frez messing with the jungler a little bit here on the side of Lambton.
Yeah, and 4 members on this bot side here, so getting a little... fancy. Kurt Wonder taking a bit of damage into Cooper as Frez goes in onto the Lux, but just gets completely one-shot by Flea and Zell. The hook over the wall onto Nautilus. Light's Faith does have to burn the flash, but Lazy flashes after him. He does have all the spears inside him and takes him down with the Rend. So a good trade kill on the bot side there.
Yeah, Light's Faith did not see that coming, was not able to get the anchor away. Active Force jumping in front here with Zell and Kurt Wonder. Kurt Wonder is going to just eat Active Force and take care of it. Kubra maybe overextending a little bit, did put himself in the death realm here with Zell. Wants to get that final shot, is going to be able to do so, but he's going to be in for a rude awakening as soon as he gets out of it, as it's going to be Flea Turtle getting himself his second engagement here. Does find the first assist onto Frez, now gets a kill onto Kubra. And just as I was saying, like, is Frez going to make himself available for getting one shot? He makes himself available to go get one shot. So a little bit of a misplay there from Frez in the jungle, but at least Lassie turning it around. Here we go again, trying to kite for his life, hangs on by a thread. Light's Faith not going to go down. Dyslexia going to completely bypass Man's Foe. One shot left, Dyslexia going to kill Lassie off.
Yeah, a really good hook there, and they're actually calling TP from Kurt Wonder. Frez is from behind, though. Light's Faith not rooting him down, and Kurt Wonder looking for him. Gets knocked up by Kurt Wonder, but does have the slow on him, and will just dash over that wall, making it a 1-for-0.
Messy here. We do see, again, Zell getting chased down. Anytime the junglers meet, it is absolutely for the worse for wear here for Zell. Is going to get taken down essentially for free. And Frez did find the jump onto Flea Turtle. Flea Turtle, solid flash away, though. Is going to keep himself alive for at least the moment. Next Dragon, just about a minute away here for Saints to maybe try and get themselves their second of the game. But the aggression just keeps on happening, and Lights is not going to find the anchor away again. Is going to get rended down in just a moment. Pop that E and pop that poor, the poor scuba diving, whatever you want to call it, whatever Nautilus is. Either way, the sport goes down.
And it's going to be Herald, most likely picked up on the side of St. Clair, as well as they do spot Active Force out on that ward, and they're moving towards him, and Cooper just completed his back, has no TP, so really bad timing on the side of St. Clair there, and he's going to have to concede it because he has the Chomp, but Frez just gets a soul kill on the Flea on the side. They do get the Herald, but Frez is in a really bad spot. Does get knocked up, and we'll have the Elise on top of him with the Cocoon coming in. So we'll just go down to the Chomp from Kurt Wonder. So a nice little trade there with Herald. So But a really bad timing on the back from Kubra, not staying around to help ActForce with that Herald.
Yeah, not sure if he was low on health or what, but yeah, him going back with no TP just left it wide open. ActForce probably felt comfortable to go do the Herald, but solid job from Lambton to not let him do that for free. Frez was there, did get the kill, of course, on the Fleet Turtle, but the fact that Lux's E, that slow still stays on the ground even if she dies, and it really kind of held Frez in position for the rest of the team to come clean him up. We have ourselves a back-and-forth battle here, as it is, of course, Lambton who do take the next dragon. Kurt's going to try and outplay this here. He's going to have to go quickly, though. We do have ActForce coming in for reinforcements. They're going to flash away. But an interesting little battle in that top lane, as we now see Miansfo get himself dove upon. Lassie is there, but does he want to try and take the 2v3? Wisely opting against it. So now, finally, get an opportunity to breathe here as the back-and-forth battle between Saints and Lambton. Close, or like constantly exciting as ever, and much closer compared to last game.
Yeah, and always having that Callista R onto your support, able to pull them out of any bad fight they might find themselves in. Oh, the hook barely almost finding Zell there at max range, but barely. They're going to spawn the Herald pretty deep into the lane here. I do believe there is a plate or two gone on that tower, so might be able to, but St. Clair having to play back. They are calling ActForce down to this lane. Herald will get the charge down onto it, and it's going to be a Herald on almost a full tower, so just getting a bit of gold to try and even it out, but still down that 2k.
Yeah, at the end of the day, still a couple hundred in the pocket, which is always nice, but not going to take the tower down just yet anyway. Still 2 plates remaining there on that bot turret. Now, Fleet Turtle, though, finds himself a binding, but not exactly in a position to continue forward here. Keeping even here with Frez in regards to CS, and pretty much every time Fleet Turtle puts himself in danger, at least he's also putting Frez in danger. So the 1-for-1 is definitely a thing, and okay, good job there from Light's Faith. Not going to fall for any shenanigans this time by keeping glued to that bot turret. Not going to get hooked away.
They do have Zell down here again for a little hover, but as you can see, St. Clair does have a deep ward on the Krugs behind the bush, so able to spot him out before anything and kind of play a bit back, so I ain't gonna fall for it. And as everything's just slowing down, just nothing to really take.
At least this time here for the side of Lambton, the lead that ActForce has over Zell sure is still a thing, but it was not as bad compared to the first game where it was basically a 3 to 4 level lead. So we do see Kubra getting himself jumped on. Dyslexia going to get some shielding and damage done as well from the bot side of things. Kubra to the Death Realm. Can he get there or keep himself alive? Now that ActForce is here, they are going to think twice about continuing that attack. And the first turret goes down in the bot lane, and they're actually converging on another attack here on to Light's Faith. He's not going to be long for this world. Kill number 3 to Frez.
And good little punish there from Miansfo for Light's Faith walking up on him. Weren't expecting the flash cocoon onto Kubra, just finds him. It's going to be the chomp on him. ActForce goes in. He's going to try and find his way onto Zell. Does get the kill and may find something onto Kurt, but Kurt's not doing much in return and has no mana, so he's just going to go down to ActForce, making it a 1-for-2.
A solid job there from ActForce to at least turn it around. We do have a battle now happening here in the bot lane. Dyslexia going to get focused down, but Miansfo is going to fall. Fleet Turtle made the roam from mid lane. Frez is backing at the moment. He's not going to be here in this fight. He's going to leave Lassie to die, and it's going to be picked up here from Dyslexia. So a solid roam from Fleet Turtle again to get himself involved in another skirmish. Dyslexia got focused down, but at least found himself under the turret, able to keep himself alive, and solid job for this Lambton College squad. Lights may have been the one who got jumped on, but he was able to buy enough time for the rest of his team to do exactly what they need to do. And
kind of a weird buy for Sunny. She did have that stopwatch from her runes, so kind of a clutch stopwatch there for keeping him alive, as he does keep the spears from going out and killing him off there, and finds himself 2 kills.
You gonna do it? Nope.
Yeah, I think he was a bit scared of who might be around him as Frez wasn't close enough as he's still pushing that wave, so.
I mean, it was probably
just
wise.
scaring him.
Zell was not too far away, so he probably could have got jumped on.
Yeah, just kind of scaring him, see, hey, you're gonna cancel your back over me. And keeps it through with Drake spawning in about 10 seconds. It will be that Infernal Rift this time around. They do have Zell a bit away, so he'll be arriving right as Drake spawns, but they do have double TP for the side, both sides. Maybe St. Clair starting the Drake up.
They're not wasting any time.
From Cho'Gath. They do have the extra smite, but with the Mord TP, it's going to be a bit delayed, and it's going to be just going down instantly. Cooper just taking so much damage, but he goes into the Death Realm. It's going to be Frez 1 HP in the backline, just going down to the Senna, but it's actually just going to be a turnaround for St. Clair. Lazi does take a lot of damage in return, but 3 for 1 actually. Cooper doesn't even go down in the end. No walking up. The hook barely missing. The bind finding him. But they're going to get him over the wall. Getting a bit greedy as Ansel has to flash the wall to stay safe. Ending that 4 for 1.
Zell, of course, has that execute damage on the Spider Form Bite, and I know he just wanted to get one more chomp onto, I believe it was Miansfo in that situation, but gets himself absolutely baited. And then Flea Turtle's damage is all in like small bursts, did not have anything available. And that was actually so close on the side of Lambton. They had so much damage on everybody that to the point where nobody got focused. Like, it was very unfortunate there. Flea Turtle did an absolute boatload of damage to everybody, as well as Dyslexia. But yeah, like, Cooper was down to less than 10%, somehow lived. Frez was the only casualty on the side of the Saints, and that's, of course, the fact that he's playing Kiana, which is, of course, a melee champion, so it's a little bit easier to target. Meanwhile, everybody else just kind of had their share of tanking. Dyslexia might not be long for this world. A good root coming out. Kamehameha across all of the members of St. Clair here. Miansfo going to try and get out of dodge. Ragnarok here coming out from Active Force, and he's going to just barely get burned down here between the Ignite and the red buff. And it's going to be the first kill going over to Light's Faith, actually, here. And I think that was a shutdown as well. So the support even getting some love here in this second game. And it's still within reach here. Saints, decent gold lead, but nothing compared to last time.
Yeah, and these fights are just going so like wonky in a way. Just having them running at them and then just kind of getting routed out from their engage. So little skirmish there. Active Force does go down. Did not have his Ragnarok to get out that Lux R until he got hit by the binding from Dyslexia. And the long range hook, but it's actually going to be Miansfo not wanting to take that hook as Lazi pulls him back with the ulti to save his life.
Yeah, keeping him excuse me, keeping him alive for at least the moment. Only about half health left on him, so gonna keep himself going here. Saints, of course, 2 dragons away from possibly get themselves a soul if this game does go that long. Miansfo does find the jump here, and then Lassie is going to absolutely pop Dyslexia like it's nobody's business. Lights, one more, one rend away. He's going to go down, actually. Lassie going to find himself the double. This is actually getting a little bit catastrophic here for the side of Lambton. Kill number 4 now to Frez after finding Flea Turtle in the jungle, and that's absolutely the last spot you want to have a Lux. Just forced close quarters combat. You're not getting away with that one as much as you try. I don't care how good you are. The Flea Turtle going to get himself caught. And now we do have Baron Nashor freshly spawned as well, and Saints are going to beeline right for it.
Yeah, even though they do not have the Elise yet, they have that Cho'Gath, so a bigger problem to keep out of that pit. If he does have the pressure to get in, he can just smite. It's going down pretty slow, so only at that 5k. They do have double smite from the Rend and Active Force going in to get some vision. Down to 3k there, but they're going to want to do this if they do this now. He does have the flash, but it's a good ulti from Cooper to keep him out of the pit there. And it's going to be, at least into the back line, just gets shredded as the Ren takes the Baron. Miansfo down to 1 HP, just barely living as Olaf takes down Nautilus. Her Wonder wanting to get in there, but the double binding onto everyone. Dyslexia finds the kill onto Lazi, but gets taken down by Miansfo with the hook. And in the end, it's going to be a 3 for 1, most likely making that a 4-for-1, as Kurt Wonder's most likely going to go down here to active force. But
Oh.
maybe even an ace as the hook finds Flea Turtle. And that's going to be the ace coming through for St. Clair.
Okay, messy as always, but it got the job done, and there was definitely a moment of brilliance there for Lambton to take that engagement towards the Baron. Of course, everybody's so bunched up, and with at least their mid lane, or at least for Flea Turtle to have so much AoE damage, and then Kurt Wonder, of course, has AoE knockups and whatnot. That was a solid chance to try and go in, but to be honest, that still felt kind of close. But again, their damage is just in bursts. It's not very good for prolonged team fights, and Saints are too far ahead to just die in one combo. So it's just not quite working out here for this Lambton College squad. As the next Dragon, within 20 seconds against a Baroned up Saints squad with over a 10k gold lead. We've seen Saints in this position before, and it usually gets closed out within the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and Dragon number 3 spawning. They do have everyone on this bot side looking to keep this bot lane pressured as Cho'Gath and Elise are down there both on ward, and looks like they're not even going to try and contest this. They're going to look for a pick onto Cooper. Does get knocked up. The Elise Cocoon does find him, and Nautilus ulti comes down too. Kurt Wonder's going to go into Death Run with Kubra, and as the entire team roams down there, it's most likely going to be Kurt Wonder going down. Blitzcrank flashes on top of everyone, and it's going to be Kurt Wonder going down. Mansfo does find the hook onto the Elise. Lazi finds 3, make that another one for Mordekaiser, and Flea Turtle, last one alive, has to dodge out everything, but it's not going to be enough as Lazi finds that quadra kill.
And that is going to be the daily quota here for Lazi getting an almost penta. And now this bot lane turret shall fall. Then enough death timer here on the clock for the side of Lambton that they could probably take this inhibitor turret and inhibitor itself without having to worry. And to be honest, with how far Saints are ahead, they could probably take another team fight and still not care in the slightest. I would be very surprised if they do end up doing so. They're probably going to get ready to back out of dodge unless they could find a hook from Yensfo. Not going to land this time by. Zell's going to find the catch here onto Cooper. However, it's going to force another team fight. They're just going to do it. Lazi does get knocked up, though, so it was a little scary moment for a second. Perez is going to find Zell, however. It's still going to be the Cho'Gath. That's Kurt Wonder getting stuck again. The GG's coming out here from Kurt Wonder. Definitely frustrating, and I don't blame them in the slightest, as it's going to be another high kill game here for the Saints, sitting at 28 as of right now. This Nexus turret will be falling very shortly. The minion count is kind of low. Watch out for that laser, nearly taking them down. Fight's still right on top of things. No longer how long this game goes on, it has just been eating up these hooks like it's nobody's business, but keeping himself safe. And now Saints, probably wisely considering the lack of minions, going to run for the hills for one last buy, one last engagement here, as 24 minutes in, this gold lead is just getting stupid good now.
Yeah, it's going to be about, what's that? Almost 20,000 over them, just excessively going in favor of St. Clair, as only able to find 11 kills with that one drag. And in that early game, it seemed like it was so tight and close, both teams fighting back and forth, but just not able to keep up with St. Clair's pressure. And as this Baron spawns in 2 minutes, they're going to try and get this top lane pushed in and that mid wave, but as everything's just kind of slowing down, they're just going to clear out all the jungle, make it pretty barren in there, and just look for some objectives.
Yeah, gonna find one more turret, of course. Lazi gonna finish that one off. Now, of course, at top side, we do have the Olaf and Mord. Of course, Kubra and Active Force gonna be pushing that down. As much as Kurt Wonder wants to try and defend this, definitely will be ill-advised, no matter how huge of a Cho you are. Gonna try and clear it out, but he's gonna get hooked in and probably die within the next 10 seconds or so, because he's still just such a beefy boy. Bianso just does not care. Gonna flash right into the middle of everybody. Zell is gonna have to take the skies or not long for his world. Okay, just let your AD carry get hooked, and this is just everybody falling down one after another. Flea Turtle, the last one alive on the side of Lambton College, and it's not gonna be for long. Just stuck in the death realm here. Just running around with Kubra for a second. There goes the ace, there goes the turret, there goes an inhibitor, and there will go the game as our client freezes because this patch is wonderful, and we have ourselves a 2-0 victory here for St. Clair.
Yeah, and game 2, very decisive one as Perez did hit that 7-kill mark, so did live up to his promise to Zeddy of keeping 7 kills, but just barely with. But Kubra and Lazi keeping up in those lanes and just kind of demolishing the side of Lambton College.
Okay, so normally when we think Border City Battle, I think games like that, just across every single esports title that Clair has. But still, good games, of course, to Lambton. Always a pleasure getting the opportunity to play up against them, and I'm sure we'll get to see them sometime down the road, whether it be a Border City Battle or maybe some competition in another league. But unfortunately, either of those games just felt like an absolute snowball ride that they were on the wrong side of. And to be honest, both of those games, Active Force got a lead, just gave every lane a little bit of love. And even like game 1, Lassie and Miensfo in laning phase got dunked. I'll give Lambton credit. That bot lane was doing a fantastic job, especially early. But everybody else just kind of ran away with it. Frez was doing solid. Kubra was getting constant gank after gank after gank on the Fiora up there. And both times, whether it was the Hecarim or the Olaf, just Active Force got ahead and there was no stopping him.
Yeah, even in the second game, Active Force wasn't that big on the ganks early. He was just kind of farming away silently, and Zell did take that advantage to gank Kubra a couple times, did burn that flash and got some off mid lane there, but overall just kind of got out jungled and couldn't keep up in the XP and gold intake, and slowly just kept falling behind. And as that snowballed Active Force, he slowly snowballed the rest of his team, and definitely in Lazi and Miensfo.
And just in general, with the composition the way it is, I'm not just sure if it's the style of team that Lambton has here right now, but it just feels very, like, I'm not calling the org unorganized, but I'm just saying that the team just seems very unorganized. Like, it felt kind of player focused, because if you're really studying competitive League of Legends right now, I feel like some of those champs just don't get picked. And
yeah,
as much as you'd love to like pick up a player favorite of some sort, like personally, like of course I love Ezreal, I love Lux, but I know that going into competitive right now, I'm probably not even pulling that out in ranked, let alone like a competitive team environment, because there's just too many things that you can do to shut down that those kind of champions. The Elise is like, it can work, but it does need a little bit of support, and there just wasn't, and it's unfortunate there.
Yeah,
for the side of Lambton, because like even though the ranks are like were heavily in our favor for this game, there were some moments of brilliance from them. So they're solid players, but just this the compositions, the synergy just was not quite there. So I'm hoping if we do end up having Border City Battle in a couple months or so, that we see the same squad keep playing together, but just maybe something a little bit more team centric with their draft can help them go a long way.
Yeah, if you're gonna draft that Elise, you got to give it some agency with the mid lane and synergy, so it can get ahead and be able to snowball the lanes ahead, and be able to keep it herself afloat against everyone else. So definitely something to look for, but some work to be improved
and then
on.
Remind me, did the Elise get drafted after Olaf was already shown?
Yes, Elise was the last pick for Lambton.
Yeah, so that was a death sentence. Because Elise doesn't win that 1v1.
Yeah, Elise can do good things into the Olaf, even though he has that Ragnarok to negate it. But you have to be able to keep up with the Olaf in farm and be able to work with your team. So you got to have a lot of synergy.
Yeah, so that's just basically the name of the game there for Lambton moving forward. I hope to see, like, I don't want to see anybody get substituted out or anything like that. Honestly, just keep playing. And hopefully next time we see we'll see something a little different in regards to the draft. Like Saints, 2 experimental compositions, overall successes, but at least they were able to kind of point out their flaws moving forward. And then actually, the predictions, I don't want to forget this, of course. Who scores the stronger KDA in game number 2? It was between Frez and Lassie. I believe Lassie at the very end of that one was working on like 12 some odd kills with maybe 3 deaths. Frez did not do bad. He was like 7-3, with both of them getting about the same amount in regards to assists. But this one is going to go to the 38% of you that voted for Lazy. So unfortunately, even though the first Kiana did make an impact, not enough to win the channel points here for those who voted. So unfortunate, especially since I think Frez bet 5k on himself. F in chat for that. But still, all just for fun. All just for fun in the end, of course. It's not like the points actually have some sort of monetary value, but it's just fun. But of course, before we do end up closing out here for now for this afternoon, big thank you to the sponsors that make this all happen. Of course, that being the Zuckelman School of Business and Information Technology, St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, the St. Clair College Alumni Association, and St. Clair's SRC, and of course, PC Outlet. Thank you for your support of the St. Clair Saints Varsity Esports program and supporting us the way you do. And then, of course, big thank you to everybody for tuning in, whether you're here for Lambton or here for the hometown squad here for the Saints. Thank you for tuning in. Always a pleasure bringing the broadcast to you day in and day out, even though my throat feels like absolute death from yelling sometimes, but it is A-okay. And of course, big thank you to Matt Avery once again for joining me for this League of Legends action. As always, constantly improving and doing a fantastic job. Thank you again for joining me tonight.
Always a pleasure to be here, especially for a good series we had today, even though it may have been a stomp.
There's always going to be one here and there, of course. But with that, that isn't necessarily the end of our action here tonight. Going to quickly throw it over to our schedule, of course, because the Call of Duty squad, they made it to day 2 of the Activision Blizzard Collegiate Cold War Qualifier Tournament. They will be taking place in the top 16 very shortly. They will also be taking place in the League for the Collegiate Cold War later on in March, I do believe it starts. So we get to see the conclusion, possibly, of that, unless they're doing a Championship Sunday, starting tonight at 7. I believe it'll be Deprive and I taking care of that one later on. Then Monday, we'll be right back here with some more League of Legends action with the undefeated Saints in the Upsurge Minor League. Looking forward to seeing if they can keep that one going, or will we find an opponent too tough? We'll have to see momentarily. Then on Tuesday, 8 p.m., we get to see Counter-Strike for the first time in a couple weeks here as we take place in the NACE Esports League. Then on Wednesday, the chaos ensues as we go to trios for Fortnite in Play Versus. Trying to keep track of 2 of them last week was a little bit nutty, let alone trying to keep track of 3. Oh dear God, it's going to be chaotic, and I'm going to absolutely love it. So be sure to join us there for Wednesday at 8. Then Thursday, as of right now, I think it's scheduled for 5. It's going to be NECC Overwatch action, and looking forward to seeing some Overwatch. We only get to see it maybe once or twice a week or so. But looking forward to seeing the team compete there. But still, of course, plenty of action even after that here on the Saints Gaming CA Twitch channel. So make sure, if you've not done so already, to follow us here on Twitch as well as on Twitter to get all the results and news after the fact. But with that, any other last words, Matt, for this matchup before we close on out?
I think that's all.
Alrighty, so we'll close out for this afternoon anyway, and then I'll see you all tonight in just over 2 hours for the Collegiate Cold War Day 2 portion of the tournament. Stay tuned.